Life was changing for islanders. Battles were now fought with repeating rifles, not spears. Grass skirts and lava-lavas were being discarded more and more in favor of print dresses and trousers.
Many of the natives wear foreign clothing and hats of their own manufacture. They are a much more civilized race than the Gilbert Islanders. These people have one curious trait. They prefer those foreign articles which are dull in color and serviceable rather than those of gaudy hue. James Lyle Young, June 14, 1876.
Marshallese could sell their copra to the local trader for 2 cents a pound. But the paramount chiefs, who had residual rights to the land, received a commission on all the copra made on their land. Before long, the chiefs could afford to buy suits and top hats for themselves and dress their wives in silk. Some were wealthy enough to purchase their own schooners. Meanwhile, Yap was becoming the center of the copra trade in western Micronesia. The German-owned Godefroy Company set up the first permanent trade station in 1869. Before that time, the island had been considered unsafe for foreigners, so none had ever taken up permanent residence there. 2 years later, David Dean O'Keefe arrived in Yap. O'Keefe purchased a Chinese junk in Hong Kong and set up trading operations in Yap, soon expanding his network throughout the West to include Palau, the Southwest Islands, and some of the atolls to the east. Yapese may not have had much interest in clothes and the usual trade goods, but O'Keefe found something that Yap wanted very badly: the large limestone discs used as local money. He capitalized on this by hauling the huge stone discs quarried in Palau back to Yap in exchange for copra. From his house on an island in Yap's harbor, O'Keefe ruled over the extensive trading network he had built up. By the early 1880s, Yap had become the commercial center of the Western Carolines. The 4 trading companies there were exporting about 1,500 tons of copra yearly, far more than the output of any other island in Micronesia. Yap had a foreign population of about a dozen, and was visited by 20 or 30 vessels a year. Yap was to the west what Jaluit had grown to become in the east. Other islands had their trade stations as well. Chuuk, which had been opened to trade at about the same time as Yap, had about a dozen traders scattered throughout the lagoon islands. They included August Hartmann, Frederick Narun, and Pierre Nedelik, all of whom founded large families in Chuuk. Melander had a trading business on Koshrai, and Dominique Etchite began in the Marshalls and thereafter made his way to Ponape. Port towns grew up around some of the harbors as more and more merchant ships visited each year. The busiest of these was Jeluit, where 30 different vessels were making over 100 calls a year. Two trading firms had made their headquarters on the island, their office buildings towering over the nipa huts that lined the shore. The island had a hotel, 2 grog shops for thirsty seamen, and well-stocked stores that offered everything from ship biscuit to Strasbourg pâté de foie gras. Money and the things it buys were rapidly becoming an indispensable part of life throughout Micronesia. After centuries of survival on their own resources, the islanders had discovered the West.